Hey guys, this is Dark Ducky, and welcome to Growing My Grandpa, which is a horror game about growing your grandpa. Would you like to view the tutorial? I have already been through it, and it's very long. Let's do this. Week 1. I excused Adrienne during music class today, and I spoke with her about her recent string of demerits. It was our first time meeting outside of our quarterly evaluations, and I believe it went well. I can certainly understand Miss Richardson's classroom observation concerning Adrienne's emotional state. She was, of course, intensely shy when we first met. As I understand it, she is similarly withdrawn in her classroom activities and only speaks or acts when she absolutely must. Some things she simply will not do. Instead of participating in mandatory group activities, she will sit alone and accept that she will receive a demerit. Before the meeting, I read Miss Richardson's parent-teacher report, which allowed me to estimate some about Adrienne's home life. The parents are well-educated and come from a prestigious background, but they lack time to properly nurture Adrienne. She is often alone, and when she is not, the parents seem to not understand the importance of warmth and affirmation when dealing with someone as so young. Having two parents with this reserved and icy temperament can exact an inhibition in a child. The child's imagination is subdued, but only ostensibly, for it eventually finds its way into regular life. I surmised that I would be able to reach out to Adrienne by way of make-believe. Oh my god, what is that? How are you liking your new house? You've told me you used to live close by, but it still can be a big adjustment. A new room, a new school. The basement. I like that. The basement? Yeah, well, there's a lot of cool stuff. Mom and Dad sent me down there. Your mom and dad made you go? Yeah, but there's lots of cool stuff. Well, that's not why they sent me down there, though. Why'd they send you down there? Fighting. They were fighting, shouting. I came in to help and they shouted at me. They said go clean up downstairs, so I went. That sounds tough. Did they fight a lot? No, well, they, It's alright, Adrienne. Maybe you can tell me more about the basement instead. Okay, well, it was weird at first, the stuff down there, but cool. I found something living, sort of. That's very interesting, Adrienne. Please tell me more. By indulging her in her fantasies and stories, I was able to glean more of an understanding of Adrienne's anxiety surrounding her home and parents. The symbols of Adrienne's story seem to carry their own traumatic weight, and her exploration of the basement may very well be a vehicle for the conveyance of her anxiety. Whatever might come of our next meeting, whether she will engage in similar make-believe, I'll set her down. I'll set down her story here. Adrienne's story begins with her delving into the basement with a trash receptacle and the goal of cleaning up. She discovered one of the walls was covered in plastic bags. She went to investigate, intent on tearing away whatever they covered. Oh my god. Hell yeah, point and click. My favorite. So yeah, this game was recommended to me by TopFrad6120 on my Children of Clay video. So trash bags. What are those? Huh. Oh, am I supposed to be cleaning up, I guess? Upon removing the plastic trash bags from the wall, she noticed their interior lining was covered in glass. Like a window, I offered. No, she said, like a mirror. Reflecting inwards towards the animal they covered. Ew. I gently asked her what exactly this animal was. Here's where the material reality of the story took a turn for the explicitly fantastic, and imaginary. Oh boy. Upon her discovery of it, at her gaze, it grew or extended. Its shaggy-haired self, hair like the fur of a dog, I offered. No, she said. Not the fur of a dog, nor the hair on her head. It grew outwards, out towards her, the animal's hair, reaching out. It was hard, standing, almost straight, like the hair on a brush. A bristle, I offered. Yes, she said. She was very afraid at first, but then very curious. I asked her what else was in the room, what things hidden away. She said things of Grandpa's as well. First she found a hidden passage under the stairs. Inside were strange dolls, magic objects, naked, faceless figures. I heard these cryptic utterances and merely nodded, in order to keep the game of make-believe going. I only pressed for details where I thought necessary. The faceless dolls could be a simple metaphor for the anonymity she feels in her own home. The hidden passage. I'm unsure of what to make of that. The revealing of the concealed seems to be thematic in her fantasy. The door under the stairs is but one example. Interesting. Well, I guess that's all we can do here. It's a question mark. We don't know what the hell this thing is. Okay. Alright. God, it's very dark. I kind of wish I could brighten it up. Looks like a dimly lit room. Yeah, there's no menu access. Like, if I press escape, nothing happens. The darkness of the shadowy corner unnerves you. You cannot explore here without some of the lights. Alright, so we need a flashlight, I think. Let's see here. I don't think I can interact with any of this stuff. Trash pile. And another question mark. Trash pile. What have we here? Why is that sparkly? Makes me think I can have it, but I guess not. Fine. What's the question mark? Knock knock. Who's there? Nobody. What to do? Oh, hold up. What is this? Rope? Once she removed the panel and found the magical hidden passageway, she was very specific about what she took. She found a magic book, a magic doll, a photo of her late grandpa, and magic glue. Oh my goodness. A bunch of... Okay. Search closet. Well, isn't this lovely? What even is this? Flesh? Some yummy flesh? Oh boy. There's the glue, the magic book, and like a couple other things, right? Yeah, so this game is so far very fascinating. I don't really know what to expect, to be honest. Lots of body horror though, apparently. All clean, this space will not be dirty again until next week. Nice. My PhD. A photo of your late grandfather. Read now. Mr. PhD. On the reverse side of the photograph, there's more text. Good luck on your trip to the Earls. Stay warm. Can I not flip it? I guess not. Glue. All-purpose glue. Yay. What's this? Papers crudely bound together to form a book. Eurasian steppe shamanism and the fusiform gyrus, an interdisciplinary study in sympathetic magic. A dissertation by Jacob Hart. The impetus of this research was the recognition of a particular pattern in fragments of documents relating to magic and magico-religious practices. Numerous sources were drawn from commentaries on laws relating to the banning of sorcery and necromancy, compilations of folk charms relating to love spells, hagiographs of saints and their encounters with devils. The list spans many centuries and a great distance from the Levant to the Khazar Khaganate. But please excuse my lack of ability to pronounce some of this, to the border of the modern nation-states of Russia and Kazakhstan today. From this paper trail arose a consistent account about a certain form of magic relating to the binding of demons to a sorcerer's will. A demon called the Heaven of Needles, or the Angel of Needles, was known to be kept best by shamanic keepers or wards who suffer from face blindness, prosopagnosia, whether by birth or through developmental causes like a stroke or head injury. It was known to be extremely effective but terribly dangerous, so much so that it became outlawed several times and was generally a popular scapegoat relating to unexpected death. This nexus of magico-religious meaning-making, sorcery regarding human-related desires, and the history of science of neurological disorders related to the fusiform gyrus is where the subject of this dissertation will reside. I will outline further and then analyze the historical sources I mentioned previously, then I'll go into the neurology of mystic and magico-religious experiences. Dang, this really is very similar to The Children of Clay. I'm loving this, like, historical references. After that, I will detail my ongoing correspondence with a resident of the Ural Mountain region who is an expert folklorist and keeper of traditions he claims have been passed down through his extended family for generations. Okay. Yeah, definitely loving the parallel. Slouching doll. Its material is rough and coarse. I interrupted to ask what she did with these magical, mysterious materials. Grow grandpa, she explained plainly, and then without missing a beat, she continued on with her story. Feeling this was a potent symbol, I stopped her again to ask what she meant. Somewhat puzzled, I didn't understand immediately. She explained slowly. Grandpa lives in the cage in the other room. The cage behind the door. They grew people in the cage. Jesus, what? What the hell does that mean? What do you mean you grow people? Hell no. The door? What, well, hold up. What is this stuff? A note on experiment 1 of 4. For the sake of university... For the sake of university policy and the health of any future career you hope to have, you will abide by the non-disclosure contract you have signed. Do not break the anthropoidic vacuum without my prior consultation and approval. Any anthropoidic forms brought into the enclosure area Must not be left unattended when not in dormancy. The sample will attempt to take anthropoid shells. Please see shell notes for more on that. Sure. Alright, I guess let's continue. A note on the experiment, 2 of 4. The sample's exposure to some of our neuronal activity is unavoidable. However, the speed at which its deleterious yield is produced can be dampened by several precautions regarding libidinal and emotional urges. Keep conversation not related to lab work to a minimum. If you begin to suspect you're developing attachments to your colleagues, contact me as soon as possible. Interesting. Okay. Let's see what this one has to say. Note experiment 3 of 4. Ritual behavior with the sample, trading, bargaining will result in dismissal from the project. The precise mechanisms of the exchange of symbols and gifts required for a requested deleterious yield is not known, and even then anecdotal accounts of success are illegible. End in violent death. Oh great. Don't bargain with the damn thing. Okay, got it. A note in experiment 4 of 4. Regarding growth cycles, every time Whiskers regenerates and leaves dormancy, it is to be logged as a new propagation. The sample's bodily existence cannot be illegible, i.e. a part cannot be cut from the whole, so there can only be one living propagation. Propagation are to be terminated after 5 weeks. Any further development puts us at risk. Termination procedures will be posted and followed with extreme care. With all of that out of the way, I want to welcome you to the project. I look forward to working with you. Dr. Hart. So what is our dad like a crazy scientist? A hastily written note. I have repeatedly called your homes to no avail, and so I am forced to leave this here for you all. I found William sitting in the corner of the enclosure area, seemingly severely concussed. Whiskers was gone, and none of its usual hiding places. I immediately suspected the worst. The project thus must be suspended for now. I am leaving up the usual mirrored coverings we used to keep the anthropoidic void sealed. I have done my best to lock up everything on such short notice. It is a hasty fix, but it will require some time to find a more permanent remedy. I am honestly hoping you do not find this note, as I intend to lock the house down too. I intend to race off to you to retrieve your lockbox keys. Do not worry about William's key. It and the rest of his equipment is almost certainly deep within Whiskers now. I pray you do not enter this room. No matter how it may appear, William cannot be helped, and is only being kept alive as a means of continuing predation on the rest of us. I will say once again, no matter what state you may encounter William in, he cannot be helped. I have sympathy for the young man, I truly do. But I found on his person several photos of his late sister, which would imply certain risks he knew he was taking. Our extant research materials have now become possible liabilities, either criminal or professional in nature, so I have stashed them away. I believe I let you all know how I might do this if we were ever to experience an event such as this. I hope you all remember what I told you. So long then. Absolutely fascinating. So I guess let's go in there. Screw it. Beyond the door in the room, the cage was hidden, concealed in another cloak of inward-facing mirrors. Oh boy. A hidden cage lined with mirrors. It is strange, almost poetic. Elaborate fantasy of self-reflection, concealment, captivity. Tarp. Dang, there's a lot more reading in this game than I thought there was going to be, but I mean, I really don't mind it. It's fascinating to me. There's definitely quite a story here. I don't really know what the hell I'm looking at, to be honest. Did I just grab something? What the hell did I grab? Can't even tell what I grabbed. It's too bright in this room. I need to turn off all the lights. Okay, I grabbed yet another thing. I don't know what it was. Okay, and that's the last thing, I guess? At the cage, she finally cast her spell. But it was confusing, she confided at first. She took the magic doll, the magic glue, and the photo of her grandpa. And she combined them. And she wished very hard. I can only assume in this fantasy that next her wish would come true. In what child's story would it not? Oh god. Am I wishing? Do I need to wish? Oh, I'm supposed to like... do something? Particular human representation, generic human representation. What? Okay, generic, particular. Glue together. Okay. A tangible symbol of intention and desire. She put Grandpa in the cage, assuming that was part of the ritual. She was not clear on how it worked. What precise instructions she could glean from her grandfather's magic book was complicated by her reading comprehension. She wished with all her heart, and then she told me she waited a while for anything to happen. And after that time, she began to cry. I cried really hard, she said. I wanted Grandpa to be back. I wanted my parents to stop being so mean. So maybe the grandpa is like Dr. Hart, and he did some weird stuff, and this kid's getting into it. And it hurt me. It hurt me wish for Grandpa to come back, for my parents to be different. I could feel it through the walls, and it felt me through the air. I asked her what exactly she meant. She could only repeat what she said. By this time, lunch was almost over. I said goodbye to Adrienne, and she left to rejoin her class. I was left to consider our conversation. I believe the storytelling strategy I have employed was not unfruitful, but I must probe deeper if I can. Although I can be sure of nothing, I interpret the impressions I get may begin to help me get an idea of the right questions to ask. Knowledge you acquired this week has given you access to certain topics or keywords you can discuss with Grandpa. You have gained the conversation topic wish. Consider discussing this when Grandpa emerges. What are you talking about? You've also gained the following keyword. Shell. Consider discussing this when Grandpa emerges. Okay, so shell and wish. Week 2. Oh boy. I'm excited to see Grandpa emerge. I met again with Adrienne in order to address her emotional outbursts in the past few weeks. It's our second time meeting, and while it's standard practice to have multiple sessions with a troubled student, as I assembled a report for the counseling department, I could not help but think, as we sat down in my office, that Adrienne already seemed to show a remarkable change in self-esteem and confidence. Perhaps my and Miss Richardson's estimation of her as emotionally disturbed was erroneous. The paralyzing shyness and withdrawn attitude Adrienne possessed last week was not entirely diminished, but she seemed to hold herself differently this week. However, this only lasted as long as our conversation pertained to initial introductory pleasantries. When I began once again asking about her parents, her feelings regarding her new school and her new home, she quickly lost what new confidence she had gathered up and withdrew again into herself. So once again, I partook in some collaborative make-believe, but this time I was aided by the fact that I had managed to do some research into Adrienne's grandfather, and I had some insight into what she might actually be finding in the basement. Now, this may be overstepping my bounds some as a school counseling caseworker, but this was all in the service of making Adrienne comfortable and happy in this learning environment. In any case, I was able to dig up information regarding the grandfather by inquiring at the university in town. Not that I make it a habit of sleuthing, but I had a suspicion that the grandfather was a professor there, or at least some sort of researcher, due to the fact that the newly constructed laboratory on the campus I drive by every day bears his name and memorial. Dang, he was a bigwig, huh? He was some sort of anthropologist, or a linguist, or a neuroscientist? I didn't have to dig that deep before the scope of his work became dizzying, and I ran up against the limits of my undergraduate education. But back to the make-believe. What's your grandpa like? Is he a smart man? Not anymore, but I'm teaching him. So he's grown a good deal then. You've been feeding him well? Yeah, he's getting bigger, but has a lot of room in his cage. He's still behind the basement. Yeah, well, he might be able to climb out eventually. There's this vent in the ceiling. Well, perhaps if he climbs out, I can meet him someday. Yeah, maybe, but he's not ready to leave. He can't take care of himself. I have to feed him, pick up after him. Ah, you stored the food in your lunchbox. That's nice of you to share. He can almost talk. You can't speak with him. He doesn't have a mouth. Sort of. But how do you feed him? He has a mouth on the outside, on his shell, or the stuff that's his skin. I'm a little confused. Maybe you can go through a typical day with your grandpa? Okay. I asked her to explain how exactly she goes about growing her grandpa, and Adrienne began another tale. According to Adrienne, in the week that had passed, much had changed in the basement. Oh my. Yeah, quite a bit had changed. What is this? Well, where's the thing that was here? The hairy thing that was here before is gone. Oh boy. Well, I'm glad we know where that's at. You should go see Grandpa first. Fine. I guess let's go say hello to Grandpa. Wake Grandpa. Sure. It was scary at first, she said. The way he moved, the way the dull skin covered him. I wanted to interject. This somehow seemed inappropriate, but I kept listening. When I look at him, she continued, when I think about him, he grows and moves. It's like he's growing for me. So he's growing bigger now, I asked. Yes, she said, bigger every day. Oh my. Why the hell is this thing pulsating? That's horrifying. This begins the actual growing part of growing your grandpa. Beneath the doll's burlap skin, the follicles knit together what resembles a proper person. Your grandpa. You're in charge of its cognitive development and diet until it is able to sustain itself. Currently, you're observing Grandpa. Please click the arrow back button below for a brief tutorial of your duties as a caretaker. Oh my god. What? Okay, I guess I'm gonna feed my grandpa. Okay, let's get some tutorials. Holy shite. Here we can see a variety of options regarding growing your grandpa. Highlighted in red are objectives related to the feeding and teaching Grandpa. Important messages regarding Grandpa's recent activity will also appear here. You will need to find it food and learning material before you can move on to the next week. Some foods will make Grandpa happy, others merely content. Some food will make Grandpa disgusted to the point of nausea. Learning material is also scattered throughout the basement. Seek out vocabulary cards intended to help teach English and basic anthropoidic concept information. The options highlighted in red are related to navigating around Grandpa's enclosure. The Go to Grandpa option will let you perform all actions directly related to Grandpa, feeding, teaching, observing, etc. Accessing the study corner will allow you to go over any documents you pick up as the weeks go by. It's a good idea to learn about the work of the people who last occupied this space. Accessing the kitchen corner will let you search for food in the old refrigerator and prepare food for Grandpa if need be. The help button will replay this tutorial, save game, and exit. Okay. More buttons may or may not appear depending on your development of Grandpa, so watch out for them. One final note, take care to explore the basement at your leisure. However, due to the entropic nature of clutter and trash, different weeks may allow you to find things you had not previously discovered. Good luck! Oh my god, this... I really thought this was going to be like a 5-minute game. I had no idea this was going to be a whole Tamagotchi simulator. Okay, well, before we go to Grandpa, I guess let's save the game. Sure. Let's go to the kitchen. Your lunchbox is currently empty. Seek out food for Grandpa. Okay. Search upper fridge. Oh, hey. Lettuce. It looks edible. Grandpa might like this. Oh, boy. I sure hope Grandpa likes it. Lower fridge. Brown banana. It looks edible. Grandpa might like this. Great. Okay, prepare food. Soft fruit or vegetable unappealing item. Banana. Huh. Okay, I have a feeling I need to come back to this later. Let's go to the study corner. Look over documents, examine educational posters, search file cabinet 1, 2, 3. Medical imaging device. My god, there's so much to this game. Can I grow another person? Huh. I wonder if I can. Well, I suppose let's have a little look-see over the documents. Magic book. Oh, I see. So we've already read all of these. Educational posters, ABCD, file cabinet. Okay. What is that? Cashews. It looks edible. Oh boy. I love cashews. Delish. My favorite. A note. It was said to pass an account of an acquisition. Okay. It was said to pass from one family of steppe people to another, but pressed on its ultimate origin, illegible, somewhere to the south, coiled in a bowl covered in incantations buried upside down by a graveyard, a common late antiquity demon trap. The keeper, an old elderly man in failing health, was ready to expound on and on about the dangers of the organism, but when I asked more pointed questions about the history of its acquisition, I was given curt responses that had a way of circling back to vague warnings. Huh. Concerning. I feel as though I should be a little concerned. For my safety, all clean. This space will not be dirty again until next week. Alright. Well, that was file cabinet 1, right? I guess let's clean up file cabinet 2. Looks like there's a couple more documents in here. I wonder if we'll get some more lore about Grandpa. Yeah, we got a document there. Let's go ahead and clean up the rest of this crap. Make my life easy. All clean. Okay, so just one document here. Linguistics module Grandpa. Teach Grandpa this word to read the notes of past educators. Ah, alright. Okay, is every week this stuff gonna like... We're gonna get more stuff? Like stuff will just appear under this trash? Somehow, some way, in this surreal horror experience? Oh, I was like, what am I missing? I guess these bones? All clean. To remove the taped down fabrics to reveal this cabinet's wooden bottom. Oh, you remove the tape down fabric. Nice. Epic. Okay. What have we here? A note regarding cleanup procedures. To my colleagues, I don't mean to be overly severe in tone, but Dr. Hart's work is very important and the material we are working with is potentially very dangerous. I'll be handing out a copy of this note as a reminder to everyone. I'm not trying to single any particular person out. We all have misconceptions about the nature of this project from time to time. With that out of the way, here are some things to keep in mind. The active growth must be thoroughly terminated via the correct procedures at the very least 4 weeks after dormancy has interrupted. It doesn't matter what you've done or haven't done regarding tests or procedures or how much the anthropoidic vacuum, I don't know what the hell an anthropoidic vacuum is, has been disrupted. We are not ready to go beyond 4 weeks at this point. A step-by-step guide determination has been posted by the enclosure wall. Please, please, please do not place the educational posters over this posting. 2. Do not disrupt the anthropoidic vacuum without Dr. Hart's prior consultation and approval. In case of any emergency where the vacuum is disrupted, put on your equipment and begin the lockdown procedure. Make an extensive note of when and how the breach occurred. If you find the habitat empty, page Dr. Hart immediately, but do not attempt to speak with anyone else. This thing can get very smart. I'm sure you're all well aware from the stories we heard on our acquisition trip. The greatest caution should be used when dealing with a potential aggressive mimicry scenario. Please seek me out if you have any more questions. William. You have gained the conversation topic, Biohazard Bin. Interesting. Fascinating. Okay, so this thing I think is able to learn incredibly fast, and so we have to like dumb it down, I think, and like teach it slower than normal? Maybe? That's kind of the vibe I was getting. Notation regarding sample of exoskeletons. Research participants, please take note. Each growth from a cycle does not require a shell, but you may find the sample will often try and seize on something somewhat flexible it can grow into, along with any serious yield it may generate, or else it will move from one shell to the next as it outgrows them. Haha. In the small amount of time I have spent with it in preparation, I have noticed it tends towards human forms. However, we should keep a tight lid on the anthropoidic seal in order to be cautious before we begin to experiment with exposing it to long-term to anthropoidic stimuli. Interesting. So I guess this thing that we're dealing with is also able to copy the hell out of us. What is this? The doctor's notes? Power. Oh. Okay. I turned it on, but I don't know how to... There's nothing there with it. Alright, well I don't think I can do anything with that just yet. So we've checked out... Let's see if we can prepare food yet. I don't feel like I can. Might just be able to feed it to him raw. Alright, I think we're ready to go to Grandpa at this point. I guess. Let's go to Grandpa. Man, look at him wiggling around. Isn't that just appealing? Okay, let's feed Grandpa. Would you like to view the tutorial before you start? You will not be prompted again. Sure. This brief tutorial will go over the basics of feeding Grandpa. Via induction of your unprotected insula, Grandpa has simulated the production of tooth enamel to mimic a human mouth. It will need to be fed through this in order to properly learn and grow. So I think because we're unprotected mouth, our unprotected mouth is able to be seen. It just like copied it. First, you will need to select an item from the lunchbox. Click on the lunchbox in the bottom right corner. The contents of the lunchbox will be displayed. Select an item from the lunchbox. Doing so will fill your hand with this item. Note that any food can be put back in the lunchbox. Click on the full hand. It must judge the food by smell. Hover your hand above Grandpa's olfactory bulbs. If Grandpa is pleased, it will allow you to feed it. What the hell is an olfactory bulb? Most foods Grandpa will accept, however, getting Grandpa to consume other things requires some culinary deception. When Grandpa is willing to be fed, hover your hand over its mouth and click. Grandpa will then consume the food. Good luck on feeding Grandpa. Okay, you approach this small window. I didn't get to read that. That's horrifying. Click on Grandpa's nostril. If Grandpa is enticed by the smell, left of its mouth with a handful of food. Okay, so let's try some lettuce, I guess. You wanna sniff it, Grandpa? Click on Grandpa's nostrils left of his mouth. I don't see anything, but by its neutral action, this will sate its hunger. There you go. Oh wow, that's disgusting. The meal appears to have been sufficient. I guess let's look, see, you want some cashews? Here you go. Oh, he's not reacting. Oh, indifferent to the smell, will accept this as a meal. There you go. Delicious. Yummy cashews. The meal appears to have been sufficient. Okay. Let's get the hell out of here. I don't want to feed you anymore. You step away from the window set in the bars. Grandpa grunts in appreciation and locomotes towards his favorite corner. Feeding summary. 2 digestible food. Nice. Feed Grandpa. Check. Oh boy, I gotta teach Grandpa now. Go to Grandpa. Is he sitting in a chair? He's like... fur or something. Okay, well, let's observe. Examine Grandpa, noting its movement, respiration, and general mood. Grandpa seems sort of sluggish and bored. You get the feeling it may be more content and readily cooperative once fed and taught a word or two. Attempt to communicate. No response. Teach Grandpa. Vocabulary word, Grandpa. I mean, I have more words, right? Oh, no, I have to, teach him first, right? Okay, let's just teach him. Would you like to view the tutorial before you start? Yeah, sure. This brief tutorial will go over teaching Grandpa pronunciation and vocalization. The vocabulary word you picked will appear in the top left corner. In the bottom right corner will be a pentagon that is divided up into 8 sections. A section of the pentagon will be highlighted briefly. The notification sound will play, and soon another section will be highlighted. You will control a small round icon that sits above the pentagon by using your mouse. The ball is constrained to the limits of the pentagon. The goal is to keep your icon over the highlighted area and move it as the area changes sections around the pentagon. When you hold left click above the correct highlighted area, the icon will start to vibrate along with the simulated vocal cords, and the current letter of your word will begin to turn red. What? Okay, I'm confused, but let's keep going. Keep holding over the highlighted section and adjust your icon as it changes place. Soon the letter will become fully red. After every letter becomes red, Grandpa will proudly pronounce the word to you and it will be considered learned. Teaching Grandpa these words will accelerate its cognitive development and lead to further breakthroughs in general intelligence. Teach the word Grandpa? Yes, you approach a small window in the jail bars. Wow, that's a mouth. Oh, wait. Think I'm doing it right? Oh my god, this is weird. I'm actually really bad at this. Okay, I did it actually. I see how you're doing it. I see how you're supposed to do it anyway. You have to like wiggle your mouse actually as you do it. And it's actually kind of horrifying. We're doing it. We're teaching Grandpa. With his mimicked vocal cords, I guess. My arm's getting tired from having to twitch this thing. Like, I have to move his vocal cords, I guess. I guess that's what I'm doing anyway. Okay, now we're just on A. Deep within Grandpa, strange membranes phonate confidently. Oh. Was not perfect, but I'll take it. Having completed the lesson, you take a look at the back of the vocabulary module card and the notes there written by administrators of the past. Grandpa, part of vocabulary and vocalization module E81, family. General pronunciation comments, usual trouble with an articulation, voice thin, raspy, possibly underdeveloped larynx. Module comments, see below. We have done several sessions of what we are calling familial relation simulation, and a co-researcher sit in chairs opposite the enclosure. We are wearing the usual masks, and we begin to act out a scene, mostly through improvisation, that might roughly resemble a kitchen table conversation between an immediate family member. Repeated trials would reveal although our simulated conversation was purposefully vague and unspecified regarding persons and identities, we would only address each other as brother, father, sister, etc., etc. It soon became apparent the encoded information and associations we unconsciously drawn upon when hearing and speaking these words was being picked up on by Whiskers and its psi-type field of reception / interpretation of brain / mind events / semantic content. My co-researcher, William, noticed this in a simulation where Whiskers was given a role as a sister and he as a brother. I was the father. Whiskers began responding to certain prompts with unusual specificity, as well as a general pattern and timbre of speech that continued with unusual consistency. As soon as the simulation ended and we left the enclosure area, William let me know that Whiskers was almost certainly drawing from encoded memories of his late sister. Mapping out exactly what regions and centers of neural activity are intercepted by the psi-type field will take extensive neuroimaging that we do not have at this site currently. We only have less precise portable equipment. However, our experiences so far are eerily in line with folk knowledge and folk explanations regarding the being's access to desires, and we can begin to infer it has access to certain portions of the limbic system and the ventral temporal cortex. You step away from the bars and store the module card at the document table. Okay, I don't know why the music stopped. I think that was a minor bug, but it's back now, so... okay, I guess let's go to Grandpa again. Maybe we can... observe? Examine Grandpa, noting its movement, general... Okay, it's the same text as before. Attempt to communicate, no response. Teach Grandpa, we have no vocabulary cards. Okay, so I guess let's go find... some vocabulary cards somewhere around here. Bulbous growth. Oh boy. Trash pile. Let's clean this up. Maybe we'll get a little something something. There did get a little something something. See what that's all about in a second. And almost all clean? Ah, not quite. Nice. We got another one. It's kind of hard to discern what is trash and like what is actually not trash. There we go. All clean. Linguistics module. Hello. Okay, cool. What's this? Corroded battery. This isn't really food. Grandpa might eat it, however. Okay. Well, why don't we go ahead and check out the bulbous growth? Something appears to be growing from the wall. You take a closer look. Oh my god, jump scare. A pulsating sac. The slimy membrane that its skin seems to contain something. It might be able to be opened with a blade. Okay. Alright, that area is still dark. Maybe I can get a blade or something. Let's see, I don't think I was able to look in this cabinet earlier. Examine, slouching under the weight of rot and refuse. Cabinet. Suppose let's clean this all up and see what kind of delicious content we can find under here. We got, what looks like grapes? What are these? Blueberries. It looks edible. Grandpa might like this. Oh, he better. Top drawer. Let's clean up some more trash. More delicious content to be found. What, is that a face? Looks a lot like a face right there. Like, I wonder if we're gonna be able to grow a second Grandpa. I don't know. These are all like a bunch of doll faces. An account of acquisition. Read now. Before we began, we had us all cover our faces completely. An earthenware pot was eligible, and on the inside was we stole brief glances as we could see the interior was inlaid with mirrors. The illegible gave it small pieces of dough, spoiled food, chicken feed, keeping it content. The keeper gestured towards the small bag where the food composed and told us to be careful not to feed it any meat. I asked if the rotting food was enough to sustain it, how it might get nutrients from any of this. The keeper regarded me seriously and said it did not matter what it was fed. The act of feeding itself was what mattered. The act of feeding flesh is another act, however. He then gave me another series of grave warnings regarding not keeping any animal-derived foods near where I might be keeping it. God damn it, this is gonna be a multiple ending game, I can feel it. Like, I'm gonna feed this thing like chicken or something and it's gonna go crazy. Let's check the bottom drawer. Oh, it's locked. I guess we need a key for that. Oops. Alright, that's fine. Let's check the trash pile, maybe? Examine. Something about that painting looks strange. I can't even really see what that painting is. Search painting. Oh, what is this? Is there trash on this thing? And there's a note that I think I missed. A folder full of radiographic images. Huh. Well, I couldn't look at it. I wonder if that's going to be important for later. Alright, so I don't think there's anything there. Trash pile. I guess let's clean up some trash. Maybe we'll get like a little vocab note in here. Or something. I don't know what that is. What is this? Fiberglass insulation. Oh, great. Yeah, let me just pick that up with my bare hands. Cool. Trash pile. What have we here? The waste here smells particularly strong. Are we gonna have some flesh under here? That's gonna be fun, right? What's that, a little angel? A little piece of paper? All clean. A simple paper doll. This might be useful in the construction of magic symbols. Huh, okay. Guess let's go back to Grandpa and teach him another word. So I get the vibe that there's like another one that's like hiding out somewhere. that is already here and might be like super intelligent. Teach Grandpa. Hello. Yes. Man, that is a mouth, I tell you what. Man, it's very strange to like have to wiggle my hand, my wrist for this. Also hearing the sounds that it makes. Deep within Grandpa, strange membranes, phonate, confident. Hello. Good to meet you. Having completed the lesson, you take a look at the back of the vocabulary module card and the notes there written by administrators of the past. Hello. Part of vocabulary and vocalization module A2, conversational basics. General pronunciation comments, sloppy articulation, module comments, see below. We are already encountering some difficulty as Whiskers subjectively is so much determined by a diverse and dynamic array of influences. It attempts to mimic the thoughts and desires it passively intercepts, and these imitations go on to structure the basis of its identity. Only later in Whisker's growth cycle does it begin to form an identity, or identities, that are coherent and capable of resembling a sane, rational human being when engaged in conversation. One must imagine how hard it would be to converse with someone who is not yet oriented in one particular way towards who or how they are, because they might have 20 different honest answers to those questions, all of them mixed and muddled together. Because of this, we have started with the basics of conversation, greetings, partings, identifying one another, forming questions, etc., etc. It is fortunate Whisker's current growth, number 19 I believe, has developed a mostly accurate human mouth simulation. Hello was a bit of a challenge in the previous growth as it had failed to develop an adequate organ to act as a human tongue. You step away from the bars and store the module card at the document table. Well, seems as though Grandpa is nice and wiggly right now. Look at him go. Observe. You examine Grandpa, noting its movement, respiration, and general movements. Grandpa appears content and ready to cooperate. Attempt to communicate. Grandpa, oh shit, I didn't expect us to be able to. Grandpa accedes to your request. It approaches the bars and begins to unknit its skin. The inner Grandpa, though still not fully formed, is revealed. It may be fruitful to speak with it, if it can respond. Oh my Christ, what am I looking at? Ask about Wish, ask about Grandpa's shell, ask about the biohazard bin. Goodbye. Well, I suppose, can we do everything? With a great deal of effort, Grandpa gurgles fragmented thoughts through its ill-formed lips. Mother, I will father. New lives out of the air. The dark spiny filaments that make up the majority of Grandpa's body begin to oscillate rapidly. The air behind your eyes, I can taste it. That is quite a wild thing to say. Okay, well I'm glad you can taste my cerebral cortex. Ask about his shell. With a great deal of effort, Grandpa gurgles fragmented thoughts through its ill-formed lips. Skin. My body. All human skin around me. Give more. Grow more to fit. Huh. Okay, well let's ask about the biohazard bin. Okay. However, it fails to produce more than a wet and frustrated sputtering noise. Well, good talk, buddy. Grandpa silently ascends back into his shell. That is fascinating. Okay, well. Good talk, Grandpa. I guess. I mean, we've explored everything. I mean, we could probably, like, prepare food. Like, I don't understand the point of feeding him, like, bad stuff yet, though. So, we'll come back to that. I'll feed him tomorrow, I guess. Let's go ahead and end the week and move on. Weekly summary. Food acquired. Okay, a bunch of stuff I got. Documents acquired. So many notes. So much reading. Knowledge you acquired this week has given you access to a new conversation topic to discuss with Grandpa. Language. Okay. Moving on to week 3. Miss Richards approached me the other day in order to remark on Adrian's development. She noted how much more at ease she appeared when called upon in class or when asked to participate in group exercises. I told her I had seen this change happening as well, and that as much as I would like to take credit for it, I can only guess dimly what might be reshaping her attitude. Miss Richards posited that it was perhaps Adrian's family moving into their grandfather's property that caused the change. It apparently is out of the country, in a wooded area full of wide open space and far from the bustle and noise of the city. The grandfather, Dr. Jacob Hart, had jointly purchased the land with the university he was employed with and began constructing what he was intending to be a satellite campus for a burgeoning psychological anthropology program he had a hand in establishing. Only one building ever ended up being constructed after Dr. Hart died in a car accident when driving back from the property one day. Eerily, almost at the exact same time, a grad student who was assisting Dr. Hart in some sort of project at the property vanished without a trace. The property sat in disuse for years as it was tied up in legal battles between Dr. Hart's next of kin, the university, the vanished grad student's family, and the other students Dr. Hart was working with. Eventually, the case was settled out of the court. Only recently did the property fall into the possession of Adrian's mother. Obviously, I was not going to relay this whole tragic story to Adrian, who for all I know believes her grandpa to still be living in the basement of his home. Besides, I thought she might already know all of this. Perhaps the elaborate story she was constructing was her own way of escaping the morbid details of a life, or perhaps lives, cut short by the cruel force of fate and the cynical adults who squabbled in the aftermath. I determined perhaps the storytelling she was and continues to engage in should not be encouraged by me, at least not in the way I went about it before, where I made active inquiries into her strange fantasy of a semi-sentient ball of skin. When I saw Adrian, I did not bring up her grandpa or ask questions about his growth. Adrian could not stop talking about it, however. I had no choice but to weather her bizarre and enthusiastic effusions about her new best friend. Adrian, maybe we can talk about something else. I'm not sure I'm following you exactly. He's gotten so big. He has so many whiskers that come out, and I can see them move around when I think about him. Oh my god, I'm not sure what you mean. I'm so happy Grandpa is back. He's so much cooler than Mom and Dad. Once again, for what it's worth, I have put down the story she told me as best as I could. Adrian, once again, told me about growing her grandpa. Oh man. How big is Grandpa? I need a flashlight for over there still. More trash. What is this? Kiwi. Looks delicious. Grandpa might like it. Nice. I wonder if... does the food stay from week to week? I hope I still have like that battery from last week and it was okay that I didn't really feed it to him. Alright, well not much there. Let's check on this bulbous growth. Yeah, it looks like it could still be popped with a nice knife. This is still the same. Cabinet. Yeah, looks like the same. There might be some more content here though, so let's go ahead and clean up and check. Okay, check diddly here. Check out the top drawer. Okay, also check diddly there. Check the bottom drawer. Still need a key for that. Check the trash pile. Same painting as usual. Something about the painting looks strange. Yup. We got a new note down here. Let's see what this one's all about. Oh, and it looks like a potato, maybe? It is a potato. Looks delicious. Linguistics module. Life. Alright. Guess we'll teach Grandpa about life and how much it sucks. Waste here's particularly strong. Some more trash. Another note. Looks like a linguist's note. Linguistics. Yep, it's indecision. Huh. Strange. Yet another bulbous growth. Oh, that's a different one. Okay. I guess let's go check on Grandpa now at this point. See how he's doing. Ooh, Grandpa, you look, different. Observe. Examine Grandpa, noting its movements, respiration, and general mood. Grandpa's gums are bleeding slightly and its skin seems overly dry. It may need a food packed with vitamin C. A kiwi fruit would be an excellent remedy. How do we know this as a child? Yeah, so we get to keep all of our stuff though, so that's nice. Attempt to communicate. No response. Alright. Acceptable foods eaten. Words taught. Alright, so same old, same old. Wouldn't save. Let's do it again. Alright, I guess let's feed Grandpa. Ah, what a mouth that you have. How about a kiwi? I don't, are these your nostrils right here? Yummy. The meal appears to have been sufficient. Okay, how about, let's see what happens if I offer him a battery. Grimaces at the smell. Okay, so he won't eat that. about a potato? Alright, there's a meal. We have to feed him 3 times. So, I'm kind of curious. I want to mix the battery with something. I want to see what happens if we feed him, like, something horrible. Grandpa grunts in appreciation. Alright, yeah, so that we just fed him twice. So let's go prepare the banana with, like, some fiberglass. The insulation is concealed in the browning banana flesh. And I want to see what happens if I feed that to him. So let's feed him. Hello, Grandpa. Lovely mouth you have there. Grandpa's aiming to stick the unappealing item in it. He'll eat it. Okay, how's the fiberglass? Although quickly consumed, the meal seems to be causing some indigestion. And with a sudden lurch, Grandpa empties its stomach onto the floor. The contents pull together in front of the cage. Uh-oh. Is he angry at me now? Grandpa makes a plaintive whine, clearly disappointed in the lack of sustenance. It dejectedly locomotes back to its place. Grandpa recently emptied its stomach. Yeah, I know. Can I, like, I guess I'm trying to see if I can, like, find anything on the ground. Oh, examine stomach contents. A key, hell yeah. Still somewhat wet. This might help you explore the basement. Indeed it might. Yeah, I figured we had to do something there. Let's go ahead and feed Grandpa this last thing. Go ahead and get this taken care of. How about some blueberries, buddy? There you go. Yummy, yummy, yummy. And then we're gonna go try that key on the lock on the safe. So let's go back and do that right quick. At the cabinet, bottom drawer. You try the safe's lock with the key you found, and it pops open. Sweet, more content. A photo of a mother as a young woman. The recognition of this face kicks off a cascade of emotion and meaning deep within your psyche. Is that my mom? There's some other stuff here, but like I don't see anything useful to do with it. So yeah, I can actually like... I guess I'm gonna glue my mom's head onto a paper doll. A tangible symbol of intention and desire. What does that do for me? Can I give this to Grandpa? Examines... Offer mother doll. Grandpa doesn't appear to be interested at the moment. Okay. Maybe he will later, I guess? I guess let's teach Grandpa about life and other stuff. I'm so excited for some weird noises. I love seeing the wiggling in the background, too, of the vocal cords. Very strange. One of those very surreal games that I absolutely fall in love with. Life. Thank you, sir. Life, part of vocabulary and vocalization module P29. Concept formation. General pronunciation comments, none. Module comments, see below. At week 3 of growth number 24, Whiskers appeared to recall some information from a previous growth cycle. We cannot be sure that this was really the case. For all we know, what we interpreted as it recollecting this information was really it drawing semantic content from one of our recollections of it and redeploying it without rationality or contextualization. For the sake of our safety and for the sake of scientific inquiry, we are attempting to draw out from Whiskers whether it somehow retains knowledge from previous cycles in its morphylactic nucleus. We did not think it was possible the nucleus, though complex and incredible in its regenerative abilities, was capable of this, and that the nerve network that grew from it made up the base of Whiskers' mind, and so we are now attempting to ask Whiskers as best we can if it has ever died or what it might remember if it did. Step away from the bars and store the module card at the document table. Now let's teach him another word. So, this thing is like capable of reading our brains, I guess, which is fascinating. So I guess let's teach it indecision. Obviously the doctor, our grandpa, this thing is going to try to like reconstruct him based upon our memories of him and whatever the hell we teach him. So that's interesting. Come on. Thank you. Oh, what a horrible way to say that. Having completed the lesson, you take a look at the back of the vocabulary module. Indecision, part of vocabulary and vocalization module F23, theory of mind. General pronunciation, comments, articulation problems, possible trouble with diphthongs. Oh my god, I haven't heard that term in so long. Module comments, see below. We're introducing the latest growth of whiskers to more subtle social cues and testing its ability to judge mental states of participants in conversation. The semantic content that flows to whiskers via its psi field is still becoming muddled and slipped without distinction in a conversation. Although our intention of instilling in it a solid theory of mind will perhaps make it begin to understand that we do not know what it knows or know what we are without our control sending to it. One would think a theory of mind seems to develop as part of its maturation process. In order to hunt sentient beings, it must be able to deceive them. In order to deceive it, it must be able to make certain metacognitive judgments. For example, if their deception appears to be working or how one ought to be deceived. We may never see it develop a theory of mind anytime soon, as Dr. Hart has disallowed a cycle of whiskers growth to live into the beginnings of maturity. You step away from the bars and store the module card at the document table. Okay. So I think that's gonna be it for this week. I guess let's go on to the next one. Oh wait, well actually, just kidding. Let's try and talk to Grandpa. Attempt to communicate. Grandpa accedes to your request. It approaches the bars and begins to unknit its skin. The inner Grandpa, though still not fully formed, is revealed. It may be fruitful to speak with it if it can respond. Ah, yes, that looks a little bit bigger. Okay, am I able to ask it other things now? No, just language. Let's try asking about the wish again, see if it's any different. Grandpa still struggles somewhat to speak due to its underdeveloped tongue, mouth, and jaw. However, it manages to rasp out an answer. Hunger is not enough. On the walls of the cave, the Aroch can be hunger transformed. Desire is fulfilled by pain. Your grandpa doesn't have the right words. Right now, I can only say I love you. Weird. Love is not enough, though. Desire is not enough. Project it outwards. Make it true to yourself, if only in symbol. Then it will be enough. For me and for you. Huh. I wonder if it wants the doll. I'll try to offer it that in a moment. Ask about Grandpa's shell. Still struggle somewhat. Something to grow in. My skin is not the doll's skin. My skin is not like your skin either. I can still feel your eyes on me inside. My shell. I have many eyes to see, but I don't need them as much as I need your eyes, with which I can understand as seeing me. There is a cycle of attention. You give me myself, but I'm still not that. Slowly, I form a human shape, and you see me more as human, and I become that. Jesus, we're gonna let this thing grow past maturity, and it's gonna, like, actually take on Grandpa's, like, persona. Ask about the biohazard bin. They kept putting me in a box, sleeping and then set a light, and then in a box in the corner, in the darkness. Okay, so I think that actually confirms the theory that it can remember previous cycles. Most of you couldn't read then. The scribe came and wrote. What everyone said, they wrote on strips of bark with thin reeds. No, it was not that. It was a paper posted somewhere. It had words to open the box. I was half dead in the box. The part of me that dies was put there for a long time. That part of me and other things they threw in. A refuse pile. Papers they discarded. I will say I'm struggling a lot to really decipher what this thing is saying, but I have a feeling that what it is saying is actually alluding to real events that have happened with Grandpa previously. Ask about language. Grandpa is old. My lives were easier before I made myself to speak and before you made clothes to wear and rules to obey. Your grandpa remembers. I have learned much in many lives and deaths. Keep speaking with me. I love talking with you and learning from you, and it helps your grandpa so much. See, so this thing is like somehow both my grandpa, but also some other completely different entity. Soon I will be everything you would like me to be. That's like able to take on Grandpa. Grandpa ascends back into his body. Let's offer the doll. It doesn't appear to be interested in the moment. Okay. Alright. Well, I guess we are done for the day. I'm gonna go through the basement once more, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Alright, let's go ahead and end the week. Doing our weekly summary is gonna tell me all the crap I fed him. The concealed installation. Yep. Okay. Week number 4. Yeah, this is one of those games that just... I mean, I paid like $3 for this. This is insane content for $3. This is so well done. The time I have to spend compiling an evaluation on Adrian is almost up, and I still can't say what to make of her changes in mood. It is, of course, the case that children of Adrian's age are nowhere near finished learning and growing. I may have to simply be happy that Adrian was able to help improve her attitude. However, something in the odd and occasionally grotesque stories she continues to bring up to me still strike me as meaningful. How has your week been, Adrian? Grandpa is almost ready. He's almost finished. Well, sort of. Ah. He's almost as big as his shell now. He has a face, and he can talk pretty well, and almost has legs. I see. As before, I've put down the story she told me as best I could. Once again, Adrian told me about growing her grandpa. Oh, goody. So this is the same... Yeah, so I'm gonna go through everything again. It looks like all this is the same. Let's go ahead and move all this crap and see if we can find any more content. We got a bar of soap. Isn't really food, but we might be able to feed it to Grandpa. Okay. That area is still dark. Let's check out the cabinet again. Oh, there's another bulbous growth. Huh. Interesting. Well, I don't have a knife yet. I feel like the knife is gonna be... Got another card. The knife is gonna be in that area where we have to have a flashlight. I don't know. We'll see. That's just a hunch. Meaning. Alright. I guess we'll teach him meaning. So this is still useless. Top drawer. I thought I didn't open this one. Yeah. Alright, so nothing in there either. Let's check out this trash pile. The painting hasn't changed. Let's try to do the trash. Maybe some info here. Oh, we got a chip. Flatbread. Nice. More food for Grandpa. Trash pile. Here's another one. We'll see what's in here. Another linguist note. Or linguist card. And what is that? Mushroom. Okay. Symbol. Alright. And another pulsating growth. Phenomenal. Alright, let's go see how Grandpa's doing. Feed Grandpa, teach Grandpa. Let's do that. Oh my god, Grandpa looks a little different. More whiskery. Examine Grandpa. Grandpa seems fatigued and almost anemic. Some of its spines appear brittle. Perhaps it would be more cooperative if fed an iron-rich meal, like meat. Oh goody. Do we even have meat yet? No. Am I gonna feed it part of my arm? No response. Teach. Let's see, I already did that. Okay, well let's, well, you know what? So I'm gonna... Oh, there's actually food here. A pear, an apple. I don't think I checked this yesterday, the day before. Strawberry, jackfruit. Collect all foods. Nice. Yeah, so I'm gonna, like, do, like, an apple with a battery. And then I'm also gonna do a pear with a bar of soap. Because maybe there's, like, more stuff he's gonna throw up for me. Like, maybe he'll throw up a knife. Maybe he'll throw up some other stuff that we might need. So I guess let's offer him the concealed this. Alright, nice. There you go. Eat up, Grandpa. Causing some indigestion. Grandpa empties its stomach on the floor. Nice. Let's do the concealed battery at the same time as well. Just let's test the game, see if it can do multiple things at once. Empties its stomach on the floor. Nice. So one of these needs to be probably a light and a knife. Ah, scissors. Okay, that's fine. And a light. Nice. Nice, very nice. Okay, so let's feed Grandpa one more thing, and I think we'll be done with feeding him for the day. How about some flatbread? Or actually, mushroom. There you go. Delish. Meal appears to be sufficient. So I think that's 3 times we fed him. Oh. Oh, I see. Just kidding. Okay, well, I'll feed him the rest of that, I guess. There's some strawberry. And, some flatbread. There you go. Hope that was sufficient, my friend. My grandpa. Okay, so now that we have the flashlight... Ah, so we can go over here now. Oh, God. Let's check out the bookshelf. Looks like we have another paper doll. A classic of alchemy. Oh boy, am I gonna read a whole ass book now? Looks like it. On the virtue of thee prudent when dealing with devils, seen or unseen. The splendors and terrors of God's creation inhabit the world of both seen and unseen. And just as one will not grapple with a lion lest they be a fool, one will not approach a being of the mind or aether without foreknowledge thereof. There are beings with no form, hiding between towering columns of air and only appearing by slipping into the heart or mind of evil and unclean men. But still there are more beings which straddle the realm between the seen and unseen, creatures feeling through the air to see the heart or mind of men. It is only by God's grace and his angels and servants crushing these beings under heel that a magician might compel them to the magician's will, and so a magician must be perfectly clear and unerring in intent and ritual granted to us by God, or else the devils, seen or unseen, will devour them, that being their nature. Man, I'm not gonna lie, some of this stuff is really hard to read, because it's just not normal writing. On the nourishing of devils of a particular type. Certain devils of a particular nature are nourished by the element of fire, others by attention and prayer, given by their idols, still others by stranger and more obscure means. By God's grace, the requirement for nourishing a devil as part of a contract only requires a token of these givings, that is, a symbol. Well, I'm gonna give it my mother, I guess. If a devil hungers after flesh and would strip a man to his bones in its devouring, the devil's hunger in nature which thirsts for flesh can be held in abeyance in the ritual act of giving blood in only a few drops. However, the contract must be completed in full, for if the magician errs and does not provide in the devil's instructions and guidance, the devil, once abjured to do no harm upon the magician, will return to its devouring nature. Oh boy, okay, so when I give this thing blood, it's gonna try to eat me, huh? Or something? Waste bin. Oh, hey, a code. I don't know the code, but Grandpa might give that to me. I guess let's, you carefully make an incision into the growth with your scissors. It's now possible to take a look inside. You peer into the small opening created by your incision. In the oily cavity, a powerful smell of rot arises and many small increate beings lay motionless and dead. However, you just barely hear the near silent slithering of something, or maybe it is just your imagination. Oh. What am I cleaning right now? Are these like little beings that we were just talking about? Also, what's the slithering I heard? I'm starting to get concerned. Oh god, okay. A jump scare, cool. Anthropoid Remnant 1. A self-sufficient animal knit together from years of ambient thoughts left to crawl around the basement. Grandpa may enjoy the flesh. I see. Okay. So we are going to, Little Friends. Huh. Okay, that's great. Cool. I guess let's, I guess we're gonna feed Grandpa some yummy little dudes. Right? Is that the deal? I'm cleaning up the insides of these, looking for a living one that oh, Jesus, jump scare, man. Yeah, that's just horrifying, isn't it? I love the way its little mouth moves. It's so cute, isn't it, guys? I think that's just the cutest thing you've ever seen. Alright, I'll take number 3. Okay, Grandpa may enjoy the flesh. Phenomenal. I think there's one more here. Yeah, alright, let's go ahead and find the little dude in here. This is gonna be number 2, right? Remnant number 2. Uh-huh. Okay. Well, I guess let's go see how Grandpa's doing. Let's see, I've already fed him for the day, so I might just feed him tomorrow. Teach Grandpa. Let's go ahead and let's teach Grandpa. Alright, so I guess let's teach him meaning. I'm sure he'll love learning about meaning. I feel like the teaching is getting a little bit more difficult to do, to be honest. Like, it's moving a little more all over the place. And I'm only making a little bit of progress each time. Alright. That didn't even sound right, man. Having completed the lesson, you take a look at the back of the vocabulary module. Meaning, part of vocabulary and vocalization module J11. Metacognition, higher thought. General pronunciation comments, none. Module comments, see below. We further delve into abstraction with Whiskers, partially or perhaps for the most part, for the purpose of determining the origin of his recollections that precede its death. Dr. Hart has begun to theorize that in the process of death, the structure of Whiskers is compressed back into the morpholactic nucleus, and then later, upon re-establishing the nerve netting that is laced through the spines, it's slowly reassembled and redeployed as needed. I do not think this is the case, for I can plainly see that for growth cycles in which Whiskers is not receiving our pronunciation and vocabulary lessons, that its capacity general for comprehending its environment is greatly diminished, and in the simulated conversations we carry out, Whiskers struggles greatly or else does not participate. Very interesting. In any case, we will press on with our lessons and heed Dr. Hart's caution regarding terminating the growth cycle before Whiskers' allotted growth time passes, or if it appears to be becoming just a little too competent at appearing human. You step away from the bars and store the module card at the document table. You know, I guess as a little kid, we're probably just gonna ignore all of these warnings and be like, oh, my grandpa's coming back. And just like let him become as human as possible. I hate how that thing moves, honestly. Ugh. Okay. I guess let's teach Grandpa the word symbol. Sure. Let's do this, Grandpa. We can do this. I believe in you. Well, that one was pretty easy. Hey, there we go. That was pretty good. He said symbol pretty well. Meaning, part of vocabulary and vocalization module J15, metacognition / higher thought. General pronunciation comments, there's nothing. Module comments. There appears to be nothing written here, or if there was, it was thoroughly erased. You step away from the bars and store the module card at the document table. Great. Hey. Grandpa's looking pretty human back there. Grandpa doesn't appear to be interested at the moment. Attempt to communicate. No response. Did I miss something? Observe. Grandpa seems fatigued and almost anemic. Some of its spines appear brittle. Perhaps it would be more cooperative if fed an iron-rich meal like meat. Okay, fine. I'm gonna go ahead and give him one of these. Just to see if we can get some more content. Grandpa seems excited by the flesh smell. Okay. There you go. Nothing like an iron-rich meal. Have been particularly well received. Your offering of flesh stirs something within Grandpa. From within the folds of its body, a wiry proboscis-like appendage begins to emerge. It may be worth taking a look at this after the feeding. Knowledge you've recently acquired has given you access to a new conversation topic to discuss with Grandpa. Proboscis. I don't know what the hell a proboscis is, but... Grandpa grunts with appreciation. You're very, very welcome. Alright, let's see how Grandpa's doing. So he's sitting over there. Examine Grandpa. Grandpa appears content and ready to cooperate. Alright, time to attempt to cooperate. He accedes. The inner Grandpa, though still not fully formed, is revealed. It may be fruitful to speak with it, if it can respond. Oh, Christ almighty. What the hell is that thing? Alright, well, I guess let's ask about a wish. Grandpa loudly clears its throat before gently responding in a lucid, well-projected voice. It's interesting that it's, like, clearly developing clothing and, like, glasses that I guess are made of some kind of organic material. Ah, you're asking me about your wish. When you wished for me to come back, that's when I knew I would. Your desperation was strong and your wish for your parents, well, if you give me what I want, I'll give you what you want. What does that mean? You know I love you. I am for you whatever you want, and I love you just as much as you love me. But desperation in love is not enough. People deep down know they can't get what they wish for without some transformation. There's something that sits at the root of everyone's soul that understands the separation between them in eternity. You may desire something, but you know you will not get it without some movement on your part. So it's not enough to just wish, which you know will not work. You must wish and a little more to transform your intention into something that might fructify, or for desire to become reality. Yeah. Okay, so it is like well past. Like this is the point where you're supposed to like terminate it because it's beginning to get far too intelligent. Ask about Grandpa's shell. Grandpa loudly clears his throat before gently responding in a well-protected voice. Ah, you're asking me about my shell. Oh, well, you see, I like to have something to grow in, something shaped like a person. It just helps to have something surrounding me when I don't have skin. My whiskers do the growing. My whiskers. Yes, you know, the hairy little things. I'm a part of it, and it is part of me. However, my whiskers are what heard you wishing for me to come back, and so they went to work in the shell you provided. The shell also helps you envision me as what you desire. You have such a nice imagination. If I weren't in my shell, you'd have my whiskers exposed and knitting together my face that might interrupt the feedback loop of my reading your desires. And then acting upon the desires I have read, and then once again reading your reaction. We wouldn't want that interfered with. The material of the doll you put down is a good fit. It's not the most comfortable, but it's quite flexible, and thankfully my shell was able to adjust nicely to my growth. Ah, okay. Ask about the biohazard bin. Clears his throat. Ah, you're asking about the medical waste bin. I believe it's locked up. I heard them punch it in the code many times as they placed part of the burnt-up dying self into the bin. They often forgot what the code was and had to go check on the wall where they were always taping up sheets upon sheets of information. So much so that the new papers would cover the old. What do you think you would do? What do you think you would find in there? Probably food for you. Well, perhaps something they did throw trash inside from time to time, bits of paper and so forth. I remember seeing a man who looked quite like me. His daughter had given him a photo of her new boyfriend. He threw it into the bin in disgust and joked with one of his colleagues. It may still be in there for all I know. Ah, very interesting. Ask about language? Ah, you're asking about language. Well, the more you taught me, the more I was able to learn myself by hearing what you are thinking and saying. A week ago, I could speak a little bit, but I was less of what you imagined me to be and not quite the talker I am at the moment. Part of what I am saying is of course made up of what you expect me to say. That's so weird. I think I am very comfortable being open and honest with you because I am your grandpa and I love you. And certainly that makes us part of what I am. However, there's a part of me deeper down, the thing that created me and maybe that undying nucleus. It is answering for me as well and is unaffected by whoever might shape what I become with their thoughts. Yeah, so there's like another entity here at play that's not... Something else is controlling this. I don't know what it is though. Ask about little friends. Ah, you're asking about my little friends. Well, yes, they come from me. They grow around me in pockets of flesh and protoplasm. Think of them like dreams. Maybe I'll explain. Have you ever had a dream that was sort of like a bunch of people, places, and events you experienced all mixed together and jumbled up? It's a sorting through and disposing of the refuse of the mind. My little friends are like that, refuse, and in ridding myself of them, I am casting off the excess material I did not use in developing life forms. Anyone who comes close to me, well, they are my eyes, my nose, my skin. Their thoughts become mine and shape what I make. However, when I was alone for so long, I didn't have a lot of people near me. What you are thinking and expecting of me is shaping what I'm saying. How I'm saying it. Do you understand? And so, because I did not have enough input from my surroundings in order to put the material to use, the material falls off my body, crawls away, and usually dies. I'm able to make the most of my material when someone is looking right at me, projecting who I will be. Just like you are now. What you are thinking and expecting of me is shaping what I'm saying. How I'm saying it. Do you understand? I do, and it's very weird. Ask about Grandpa's proboscis. Okay, what's your proboscis, bro? Oh, you're asking me about my proboscis. It is just a little tube I keep to help me feed on blood. You could say it's my real mouth, but it's not really a mouth. It appeared because you fed me flesh, one of those little friends you found, I think. You feeding me flesh was a symbol, a proposition, if you will, that you wanted to hold up your end of the bargain with regards to your wish. If someone was willing to hold up their end of the bargain and let me feed on them with my proboscis, then they can move on to the next step of the agreement, providing me symbolic instructions. Oh, I hope that helps clear things up. Oh, you have another question. Do I like the blood? Well, my whiskers, I believe they like the blood. And the flesh, it's strange. They are me, and yet they are now me. I am bound to them. They control me. And technically, yes, they did make me. However, you were the one who really grew me. In some ways, those whiskers, they are me. Or a part of myself. Or am I a part of it? The part is much more animal-like. Whatever might happen, know that I will always love you, and because it controls me, I might not be able to act how I would like, even if I do love you. Ah, let me just warn you that I'm probably about to, eat you. Goodbye. Grandpa ascends back into his shell. Well, isn't that something? What's the proboscis? You motion to Grandpa to approach and point to the thin protuberance. Grandpa silently ambles closer to the bars and fully extends it towards you. Well, isn't that something? A minuscule needle extends from its tip. There appears to be one more thing you must give, if only for the sake of proprietary. Oh boy. Can I give him some blood? Am I supposed to give him... No, I can't click on these. Oh god. Yep, I'm giving him my blood. Well, I gave him some blood. Grandpa has appreciated your blood offering. It will receive a symbol or totem from you now, although only one per offering. As the blood-fed proboscis retracts back into the folds of fabric, you step away from the bars. Grandpa is accepting totems. Here you go. You approach the bars and hold out the mother symbol you created. Grandpa's spines quickly reach out and envelop the doll before drawing back. The doll quickly vanishes within the folds of Grandpa's skin. Constructing and then offering your mother's image to the Grandpa symbolically sated by blood instills in you a concrete sense of completion. Grandpa gives you a soft affirming grunt as it senses deep within your mind the ritual transformation of your desire. Although Grandpa must receive both a mother and a father totem before the fulfillment of your wish is assured. Man. What a game. What a game. Interesting. Okay. You know what? I think I need to find... I know what I need to find. I'm still missing, So I need to get into the waste bin. And I need another idol to, feed him. Yeah, I need to find the code for that. So I think on the study corner, bro was pretty much saying that the code is somewhere here, maybe? Oh, you slipped the radiographic images you found onto the machine's display. Propagation number 21, day 19 after dormancy, anthropomorphic vacuum broken, yes, terminated at 21 days. Huh. Oh my god, there's so much to read. Well, strap in, guys. We're about to read some more. Intriguing results with regard to the mimic hypothesis. A participant entered a sealed chamber adjacent to Whiskers, growth cycle number 21, which had been freed from the anthropoidic vacuum, constructed quite economically from plastic and broken mirrors. The first propagation's original earthenware vacuum was shattered during the move-in. Between the two, there was a semi-opaque glass panel that allowed observation both ways. The human participant was asked to think of someone in the popular consciousness, fictional or no, and cogitate on their image, personality, face if possible, voice if possible, etc. Our participant chose Jesus of Nazareth, and with weekly repeated exposure to the participant's imaginings propagations number 21, began forming what resembled an anthropoid Nazarene in the fold of its spines. Previous human-oriented tests have always bore out a result that Whiskers would form an anthropoid team member, be it me or Dr. Hart or Gerald, and we assumed it was merely mimicking one of us. Dr. Hart has always contended the desirous yield, or the anthropoid reproduction Whiskers creates when in contact with human beings, has always been based on the conception and relation to the person through someone else. With this framework, the desirous yield is not actually a replica of a person, or if it is only a replica of the fiction of a person generated in the mind of another. This desirous yield was not Jesus Christ, but the participant's image of Jesus assembled from their religious upbringing, religious artwork, depictions in popular culture, etc. This radiograph was taken right before the destruction of the growth cycle, while Whiskers was rendered unconscious via fumigation. It seems like with every successive propagation, the stem cells in the organism work a little faster, but I'm not paranoid. It's technically deathless. Yes, but we're burning up whatever knowledge it's gained when we incinerate it. I don't believe in magic just yet. Fascinating. So that's actually the face of, what's up with this R? I don't know if that's like a code or something. Ha, it's cool how the music does that too, though. I don't know. Well, let's keep going, I guess. Propagation number 2, day 0 after dormancy, anthropomorphic vacuum broken, yes, terminated at 6 days. We have taken to calling it whiskers, though of course some have interpreted it as hair or needles or quills, but whiskers is more accurate as the needles are really more like suprasensory follicles or spines. The nerve nets distributed throughout the morphology of these spines resemble those of genus Hydra, but have myelin sheaths that are functionally the same as vertebrae. As we can see in the X-ray, each spine is laden with dense optical arrangements similar to compound eyes. The Hydra connection is assuredly worth investigating with regard to the organism's capacity for regeneration and anecdotal deathlessness. It certainly is a robust enough creature to inspire marvel that is not untinged with fear. Huh, so these are the spines, and they're like eyeballs on them, I guess, that can see into the brain. Fascinating. Propagation number 14, day 14 after dormancy, anthropomorphic vacuum broken, no, terminated at 16 days. What's in details? Exposure to mammalian forms, part of a series of zoomorphic influences, led to further understanding of the propagation's ability to simulate the somatic stem cells that constitute fully developed animals. I write simulate in the previous statement because examining the tissue of each propagation leads me to believe its amazing capacity for accelerated growth of vastly different forms comes from its cell-level mutability. And yet, at no time does it function as the thing it becomes except in the sense that it mimics it. That is to say, when Whiskers is removed from dormancy and replicates a rabbit's morphology, it is not seeing from the rabbit's eyes nor smelling from the rabbit's nose, but pretending that it does and doing a very good job of it. Interesting. I can't really tell what this is. It might be a rabbit? I don't know. I can't tell what that is. I don't know what this is either. Propagation number 5, day 10 after dormancy, vacuum broken, no, terminated at 12 days. This radiograph was taken at or around growth cycle number 4. The strange thing about it was that the subject of the image was found nowhere near their enclosure. It's almost like a piece of whiskers fell off and scurried into the corner. I feel like we've learned a lot since then, but at the time I remember speaking about the morphology being weird, not really even resembling any extent zoomorphic structure, besides maybe a cuttlefish. Then I happened to open the thing up. Inside were all these little dead amoeba-like things, but they all sort of looked like they had faces. Faces that were just barely there. After I took the radiograph, I gathered it up and went to go through it in the biohazard bin. As I walked by the bars of the enclosure, I could hear Whiskers suddenly going wild, flopping around and grunting excitedly. Could it have smelled the cuttlefish thing? Would it eat its own production? I guess it's technically flesh. This is beyond the scope of the project, but it could be that without the stimulus of an active brain, or more specifically a healthy and active brain capable of face recognition and theory of mind, Whiskers begins to pull whatever it can from the limited data available to it. Again, this is not our focus at this time, but I left a note for Dr. Hart just in case he wanted to take a look. Interesting, so that's flesh. Okay, and we've gone through all of them. Excellent. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Oh, hey, this is dirty, so let's clean this out. Maybe we'll find something in here. Nothing in there. Educational posters. You know, I didn't even think to, like, remove this stuff. A set of procedures regarding disposal/internment. The researcher will seal off the enclosure's bars, ensuring minimal gas leakage during the later fumigation process, and then retrieve the burn barrel and place it near the enclosure. Allow at least 48 hours of time where the current growth cycle experiences no human-related stimuli. Do not enter the enclosure area nor any part of the basement. Ideally, you will not be on the grounds at all. After 48 hours, 2 researchers will enter the basement wearing their assigned mirror mask, mirror apron, and powered air purifying respirator. The researcher will use the vent system to fumigate the enclosure area, wait 30 minutes, and then use the fan system to ventilate the enclosure. Keep the fans running during steps 3 and 4. Re-enter the enclosure area wearing your assigned mirror masks and aprons. The organism may or may not be in complete dormancy. If it is not in full dormancy, be assured that its capacity to act against you will be greatly diminished. With your assigned powered drills, quickly remove any enclosure bars needed to access the organism. Put them aside for later reinstallation. Put the organism into the burn barrel. Incinerate the organism thoroughly. Wait for any smoke to be properly cleared by the fan system. Turn off the fans. One researcher will retrieve the nucleus from the ash and place it on the mirror box. The other researcher will sift through the ash and place any other substantial remains in the biohazard bin in the room outside of the enclosure area. The bin is locked for safety purposes. The code is 323245. The researchers will fill out a termination form and leave it for Dr. Hart. 323245. Okay, got that written down. End. Alright, so that's the code. I guess let's go open that up and see what we got. 323245. Okay. The lid unlocks, and with some effort, you move the heavy lid off the bin. And there's a picture of your father as a young man. Huh. That looks... Alright. And that's it, I guess. Cool. Neat. So I need to make another one. Oh, I do have a paper doll and dad. Okay, so let's do that. A tangible symbol of intention and desire. Okay, so let's go offer this to Grandpa, and I guess tomorrow he's gonna be like... Grandpa doesn't appear to be interested at the moment. Okay, let's go ahead and end it, and then I think next time he'll probably be willing to accept it. Let's go ahead and end the week and let him mature further. Weekly summary. Bunch of stuff. Got all the documents in the game. We should be getting close to wrapping up here. Week 5. He's not supposed to exist this long. It should be almost hyper-intelligence. Who could that be? Come in. Ah, Adrian, good to see you. Aren't you a little early? No matter, I suppose I have some time now. How have you been? How's your grandpa doing? That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Something happened. Oh, what happened? Nothing bad, I hope? No, nothing bad, just different, I think. Maybe even good? Well, I'll tell you about it. Well, last night something woke me up. There was this noise at first. It was like it came from the walls. I could hear it from my bedroom, but there was something else. Something calling. I could hear it just barely. I was afraid somehow Grandpa hurt himself. I had to go find out. I went downstairs in the vent. The place where I first found Grandpa, or what I grew him with, it was open. Do you remember how I told you about the vent in the ceiling? Behind the bars? I was thinking he had climbed up into it. He'd gotten so big, it could have done that. Maybe he hadn't gotten trapped. Maybe he had gotten trapped somehow in the vent. I had to go see. In we go. I got inside. I heard the calling again more clearly this time. Grandpa was definitely in the vent somewhere. I could feel him hearing my thoughts. I got that weird feeling, a sense in the air. I had to go forward. Oh no. Oh, it's getting worse. As I moved in closer, the vent had a stuff in it. This kind of slimy, hairy stuff Grandpa would leave around a lot. He was definitely close. Ah yes, let's go say hello to Grandpa. Something was there at the end. But it wasn't Grandpa, it looked maybe like he had made it through? He had made it though. What? It was slumped in the corner. It had a weird mouth and it had its lungs on the outside, drew in just enough air to call out. And then it just stopped. Stopped breathing. And then something was hanging over me. And then I woke up in my bed. In your bed? Adrian, it sounds like it was just a quiet, dreadful dream. Are you alright, by the way? Your face is twitching like you're about to have a violent sneeze. I'm fine. It's just Grandpa. You see, it took me a little while to figure out, but... Later, when I was brushing my teeth, I saw one of Grandpa's whiskers poking just out of the space under my eyes. Oh my god. Oh no. And I started to remember how in the vent he hid inside of me. It was so fast. I could barely remember, but soon I started to feel him sliding around in my head. Behind my forehead and behind my eyes and nose. It doesn't hurt at all, it's just ticklish. I'm glad I can be with him. Oh, I can feel him now. I think he wants to meet you. Part of him is moving down my arm. Oh. I'm starting to get worried, Adrian. You really should not be twitching like this. I should walk you to the nurse's office. Come on, let's go. You should really meet him. I've told you so much about him. Here. What are you doing? Adrian, you're starting to look very ill. Please, just wait. Just stay still. He's gathering, waiting at my fingertips. Why do you look like that? You don't have to be afraid. Look. Loading. There are two endings in Growing My Grandpa. You got the failure of fulfillment ending. Oh man, I missed the dang, yeah, so I have to give him the dad figure, I guess. And then that'll do it. Man. What a fascinating game, though. I'm gonna let this play out, and then I'm gonna go get that other ending. So if you want to just kind of fast forward or watch it, I don't care. So I need to offer him the father doll, but he doesn't really seem interested at the moment, so I wonder how I can do that. I'm gonna try feeding him all of the meat. And that might do it. Alright, there's some more meat. Meal appears to have been your offering was flesh. Stirs something within Grandpa from within the folds of its body. A weary, like appendage begins to emerge. Maybe worth taking a look at this after the feeding. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and feed it all to him. Desire for flesh has been sated, but may be aroused again very soon. Okay. Sure. Grandpa grunts in appreciation. Alright, there's that, I guess. Let's go check out Grandpa. Still not interested. Let's check out the proboscis. Yep. We'll do the thing. Have some of my blood. Okay. So maybe now he is interested? You approach the— yes, hold out the father symbol you created. Grandpa's spines quickly reach out and envelop the doll before drawing back. The doll quickly vanishes within the folds of Grandpa's skin. Constructing and then offering your father's image to Grandpa, symbolically sated by blood, instills in you a concrete sense of completion. Grandpa gives a soft, affirming grunt as a sense deep within your mind, the ritual transformed of your desires. Although Grandpa must receive both a mother and father totem before the fulfillment of your wish is assured. Knowledge you recently acquired. Completed contract. Okay, so we haven't talked to him about a completed contract yet. So I guess let's try to talk to him about the completed contract. Oh man, that's absolutely horrifying. Completed contract. I think that's the last one. Yep. Thank you so much for completing the contract. I'll definitely help you out with your parents. Just give me a little time and I'll be ready to act. I think you'll be very happy. Your grandpa is very happy too. You did it all by yourself, you know. I couldn't have helped you if I tried. I would have really not have liked to, well, I did not want you to not complete the contract. I would have hated that. But do you understand why I would have had to? Maybe you don't. So much of your lives are made up, and yet what comes to pass was always once a fiction. You doubt yourself and your plans before they are even begun. And you believe what is in front of you as if the essence of things was not something you put there long ago. Too much doubt can suffocate even the surest thing. Only with patience and growth and nurturing does something become what it will be. As you soon shall see. Okay. So that was the last thing, I guess. I mean, we still have one more thing. Can I feed this to him? I really hope that everything's okay. Like, I did everything right. There you go. I'm gonna go ahead and give you some more. Just to be safe. Your offering of flesh stirs something within Grandpa from within the folds of its body. A wiring... Okay. Can I offer him, like, some more? I don't know. Yeah, it's not there anymore, so I think it's just like you have to do that once. I think we're good. Okay, I think we're good. Let's go ahead and save and end the week, and hopefully everything is good for the good ending. Yeah. We got all the documents, all the food. Week 5. The good ending? Hopefully? Oh yeah, this is different. I met with Adrian one final time in order to see if I could not reach some sort of resolution regarding her emotional trouble. In these past few weeks, according to the reports of her teachers and peers, she has shown a remarkable transformation in conduct. I would also add my voice to this consensus. It seems as if in our time together, much has changed for the better. I'm not suggesting our meetings were the sole source of her sea change. I think something has happened in her home life that has reoriented Adrian completely. She seems to suggest as much, at least in her usually esoteric way, when we last spoke. Something tells me something may have changed with Grandpa. Yes, well, something did change. I'll write down her words verbatim here. I went down the stairs like I always did, but I sort of felt like something was different. My parents weren't arguing, and I felt something had changed with Grandpa too. There was a weird noise, but I wasn't afraid. Oh man. Yeah, that is a weird noise. Okay, I guess let's go see what's happening in here. Oh my god. Christ almighty. Okay, I think Grandpa had to leave, but before he left, he made my parents nice. He reached inside and changed them. That was my wish. Maybe even what I was growing wasn't really my grandpa. Grandpa left what I was growing behind. He is gone now. He moved quickly out to, I don't know where, but I'll always love him. I dismissed Adrienne soon after, letting her know it was a pleasure getting to know her. Despite my apprehensiveness about the speed of the turnaround she has made, I cannot see any reason why Adrienne should be considered for further evaluation. And as a counselor for Adrienne, let it be known that I believe she is sound mental and emotional health. I am pleased to see things turn out this way, and if I may make a brief addendum. By happenstance, Miss Richardson bumped into the Hart family the other day while running an errand. She told me the parents were a little odd, but very pleasant, and quite clearly they adored their child, and that she had never seen Adrian happier. Huh. The child is the mother of the parents. Wow. Okay. So that was the good ending, I guess. Alright, well that is going to be it for Growing My Grandpa, a really, really nice indie horror game. A very pleasant and horrifying point-and-click experience. I think the developer did developers, I really couldn't tell how many people worked on this, did a phenomenal job with this. The art was absolutely horrifying, and like some kind of creature, like there was so much lore here to dissect. Like you could make a whole theory video about what happened, or like a whole recap video about what happened here with the grandpa in this being that mimics other beings based upon the way it perceives it from your brain. Like it's this wild, super cool concept and really disturbing. You know, the hairs was a nice touch. That was honestly really disgusting. I really enjoyed it. I'm so impressed with this one. This was an easy 10 out of 10. Really nice horror game. So really good job with this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I most certainly did. This was a pleasure to play. And with that said, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.